ECOWAS has just ended its meeting on the current political crisis in Niger. They said they are ready to move in to Niger to resolve the issues. Currently, what ECOWAS is asking is for the junta to release the current president, President Bazoum, and all the other political supporters. We are here to talk to some representatives of the people and citizens of Niger. They are going to tell us more about what has happened so far, what their views are, what they think of the decision of ECOWAS to move in with a military intervention. I will begin with Alhaji Ali Yunusa. You are a former member of parliament, so obviously you represent the people, even in your current state. Tell us basically, we'll just take you a little bit back to circumstances leading to the current crisis in Niger. As a member of the minority group, what is your stand on the current happenings in your country?
Thank you very much. First of all, I think Niger is a country which needs stability. And stability goes with uniting people. If people are not united, I think that will not help us. With ECOWAS things, I think the leaders are supposed to think about the poor people in Niger. The leaders have to think about solidarity, because if you go years back, what happened in Libya, that's the thing will bring insecurity in all West Africa. And insecurity is not good for us. So the good thing is ECOWAS supposed to go with negotiation, not by military intervention. Military intervention is not needed now, because we as African, we are first of all united. So how can them go there, fight against the soldiers? They just want to tell us that they are going to fight the poor people, because the poor people will never accept them to reach the soldiers. Because I think now, for now, in Niger, soldiers are supporting at least 80%. So if they want to go there and kill the soldiers, maybe they will kill the poor citizen before reaching the soldiers. So the good thing is they're supposed to go to find solution. Peaceful manner is better than intervention, because now intervention will spoil all Africa.
We'll come a little bit into the decision by ECOWAS. There have been a lot of comments by well-meaning, even Ghanaians, who thinks that the decision for ECOWAS to move in military-wise was not the best. But as a member of the representative of Nigerian parliament, you know the situation that happened, that has been happening there prior to this action by the junta. Do you think that the step taken by the junta was right in the first place?
As I said first time, in Niger, I think there is no even democracy in Niger. Maybe now, as solution searching, maybe ECOWAS people can help us to go to a very real democratic country in a peaceful manner. Because we know in the years back, if you want to do even demonstration which the law of the country accepts, you cannot even do demonstration in Niger. So that means in Niger we don't have democracy. So that's the reason why maybe the junta has taken the lead to sack Mr. Bazoum, because as a democratic president, you have to follow the rule and the regulation of the country, leaving people do what the law said. Because in Niger, we are allowed to go to the street, talk what is not good, so that people will see and the president will help us to find solution. We know maybe more than 8 years, nobody see demonstration in Niger. So if they said they want to go and find solution to bring Bazoum back, I think this is wrong. They have to find a peaceful manner to help these military people to follow the democratic way, so that maybe an election should come back, so that Niger will be a peaceful country, which democracy will be ruled in a peaceful manner.
I know you are talking about negotiations and you are talking about a peaceful way of engaging members of the junta, but we've heard that ECOWAS have attempted to go into Niger to have a sit down with members of the junta, and they were prevented.
If you told me that you are going to kill me in the first place, how can I talk to you? It's not possible. But if you told me that I want to get a peaceful solution, by all means, I can sit down with you because I know you are honest. But if you want to kill me, if you want to sack me, if you want to kick out me and my people, how can I talk to you? Maybe ECOWAS didn't find a first entry so that they would talk to the junta and his people, because the first thing in the table is the force. I think that's the reason why they don't want to see ECOWAS people. But last, I think the UN people meet the Prime Minister and some of the junta people, and they talk about things. So maybe now they can find solution for our country, for Africa, because intervention in Niger is a problem for West Africa. Right now there is no democracy, but I think maybe with the help of outside people, we can bring a real democracy in Niger. We don't have democracy. The people in power, they do what they want. So they are not taking what people want. Maybe what they want in a priority. What we want is not in count for them. But I think maybe now, in the help of different people, Niger can be a democratic country, inshallah.
Okay, just before we come quickly to the intervention by ECOWAS, you were a member of parliament. You have experienced other countries. Comparatively, during your tenure in parliament, what was the exercise like if there was no democracy?
In 2016, the general election, everybody know, ECOWAS know, Mr. Hamma was in the people who want to be a president. He was in a jail. He was second. After he was second, ECOWAS people never talk about it, so that Isufu Muhammad, who was the former president before Bazoum, never released him. In a jail, he was second. So maybe if he was outside, he can even be the president. So if ECOWAS people know that there was democracy in Niger, Mr. Amadou will never be jailed. Somebody in jail, do campaign, become second, go to second round. I think there is no democracy in Niger. Because if really Niger was a democracy country, that person supposed to be released, go and do the same thing as what Isufu did, so that maybe he can even beat Isufu to become the president. Maybe Isufu fear him. That's why he never released him. And all these ECOWAS presidents were there. None of them go to Niger to intervene so that peace will come in Niger. All of them, they go and sit in their seat and watch Niger. So I think all those problems are in because of how these military people intervene and put end the regime of Mr. Bazoum. I think democracy is not like somebody is doing what he wants. Democracy is going, respect the rule and the regulation of the country, that the good people of the country give the leaders to prevent certain things to happen. So maybe by the will of God, these soldier people will put things in place so that the real democracy will come in Niger, so that Niger people will be happy to follow rule and regulation of the country.
Now you mentioned that now it looks like the junta have lost trust in ECOWAS, so it is not even ready to have a sit down. And ECOWAS is also threatening that if you are not ready to have a sit down, then we'll probably have to bring the military in. In your opinion, what can ECOWAS do right now, especially since the junta is not ready for a sit down?
I think the junta is supposed to get the trust of his people, not ECOWAS. If the junta have the trust of his people, then ECOWAS is supposed to see these people what they want, from what they want, what is the solution they are going to find out, so that they will help the country. They are not going to see what Bazoum or somebody want so that they will help that person. No, I think the power of the people is ahead of the power of Bazoum, because the people are the one who give Bazoum the mandate to be a president. So if these people say they don't need Bazoum, I think ECOWAS cannot bring back Bazoum. But what is good now, the ECOWAS is supposed to withdraw the intervention of the military and go about the peace solution.
How would they do that if the junta is not ready for a sit-down?
They have the map. They have the people who they're supposed to send, and send those people with the peaceful manner.
Which people?
The ECOWAS people go there, and the ECOWAS did not tell them that we withdraw the intervention of the military. Okay. They have to withdraw the intervention of the military so that the military people will know, okay, these people are ready for negotiation. But if you say you were going to kill me, how can I trust you and sit down with you and talk about good things? It's not possible. If you want me to speak with you, withdraw the intervention first. If the intervention is withdrawn, now I know that, okay, now you want peace, so I can talk to you. But what is good is that Nigerians in Niger are supporting the junta almost 80%. So if people need them, ECOWAS is supposed to like Niger people and support the junta to find a way that they will do a peaceful transition so that Niger will become a peaceful country of democracy.
Are you saying that if ECOWAS is ready to support the removal of the president, the junta is ready to let go of everything?
If everything is peaceful, I think this mantra will not come out. Bring back Bazoum to power. It's not possible. Today is how many days? I think if it goes back in 2010 in Niger, maybe the videos are there. Bazoum are one of them which support the coup for Tanja in 2010. He supported the coup. Why he support the coup? That's why I think he will be the best person to give us the answer.
Currently, the situation in Niger, if you are saying the junta is working for the interests of the people, now the people are those who are suffering from the economic sanctions from ECOWAS. Do you think that the junta is still working for the people?
But if you can see the television, people are supporting them. So people are even ready to die. They are ready to die. So somebody who's ready to die for the junta, you're not even supposed to bring the matter whether they like them or not. So they say they don't care about the sanction. They are supporting the junta because they think the junta will help them better than Bazoum. I think that's the question. Do you see Niamey or any other region in Niger, people are supporting Bazoum? No. All of the country are supporting the junta. Why? I think they are the better person to tell us why.
But are you supporting the junta?
For me, I'm supporting the Nigerian people. Whatever Nigerian people like, I like it.
In your opinion, what do you think the Nigerian people like?
Maybe you can see the ground, what is happening.
What is happening? I mean,
I don't know. That I'm not the better person to say it.
I will just come to you briefly. Alhaji Haruna Maiga, sorry. You are a member of the ECOWAS Solidarity Forum. Right. So obviously you represent the ordinary Nigerian in the forum or even in the country. What is your opinion of the activities of the junta so far?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. You see, the Nigerian situation is a very protracted one, and there is not going to be a one-way solution to dealing with the current political crisis in Niger. Niger, days or months or years before this situation, has always been under some form of insecurity. Even during normal times, more than half of the country is under the control of jihadists, renegade soldiers. All kinds of interest groups are operating in the territory of Niger for either their political or economic, or, as you know, it could be any. The people have all sort of interest operating in Niger. They are not just people, as I put it, but armed groups are operating in Niger for all kinds of reasons. And I would say that ECOWAS has sat down all this while for these things to happen. Beyond the internal politics in Niger, we have the geopolitical situation in some parts of ECOWAS. In fact, we all know that the fall of Gaddafi created the opportunity for all kinds of people who got access to arms to destabilize countries like Mali, Burkina, and now Niger. And all kinds of atrocities have happened in the recent past. And where was ECOWAS is the question that everybody is asking. Now, the other interesting thing is that there has been so many coups in the West African sub-region over the past 3-4 years. Take it from the fall of Yahya Jammeh of Gambia. There has been coups. There was one not too long ago in Burkina. Before that, we had Mali, we had Guinea, Conakry. And you see, one will ask, where was ECOWAS in all that? Why is it that this recent coup in Niger has triggered so much interest by the ECOWAS community to act and even, consider the option of going into Niger to take military action and remove the junta? Niger itself, this is not the first coup in recent times. And he's a member of the National Assembly. He's a member of the recently.
But have said that this time it wants to send a strong
signal
out there.
I heard the commissioner of ECOWAS, in the person of Abdel Fattah Musa, in the recently ended meeting at the Bema camp, that the last coup in Niger is, he described it as one too many. Well, one too many. And that the interest of ECOWAS is to send a signal that ECOWAS is no longer going to tolerate coup. Well, that is good on paper. But the reality on the ground is that, like he told you, internally, about 80% of the Nigerian population support the junta. We are hearing it from a very credible source because he's a member of parliament.
I wonder which research he used to.
Well, if for nothing at all, the images we saw in the stadium in Niamey is something that, if we want to go by something, if we want to go by that, we should say that perhaps the coup has some some support. Beyond that, our group, ECOWAS Solidarity Forum, our objective is to mobilize public and international support, possibly, against the decision by ECOWAS to intervene in Niger. Now, there's so much nomenclature being thrown around. Is it an intervention? Is it an invasion? Is it... they themselves are describing it as military action. They are even calling it a surgical military action to take out the junta. Well, whatever it is, we are saying that if ECOWAS decides to go on that path, it has the potential of destabilizing the entire region. In fact, as we speak, there are more than 700,000 refugees in Niger alone, made up of internally displaced people, refugees from northern Nigeria, as you know, the operations of Boko Haram, refugees from Chad, and then refugees from, even Mali are in Niger. And yesterday, the UN has issued a statement cautioning ECOWAS to be a bit more careful about the sanctions, not even the military action they are about to take. Already they have imposed sanctions on the junta. And UN has already issued a statement calling on ECOWAS to reconsider the sanctions because it is creating serious humanitarian situation already. This is even before the military action. Now, supposing the military action takes place, that situation is going to even worsen, and it will definitely spill over to neighboring countries. Something that many people have not taken care of, have not paid attention to. If you drive on the streets of Accra and Kumasi and other places in Tamale, you will see at traffic intersections a lot of women and children who come to beg for alms, and they're creating so much nuisance to the extent that about a year ago the government of Ghana has to round a lot of them up, put them on charter flights back to Niger. And a lot of them, even before this military action, are coming back. Now, the Ghanaian social welfare system, if we have a social welfare system, even if we have a social welfare system, is already so stretched that we can't even deal with beggars on our streets. Now, supposing this action takes place, there's going to be huge numbers of people. Imagine 200, 300 people at traffic intersections or sleeping on the streets around everywhere, Kwame Nkrumah Circle, airport, Opebia, anywhere, Independence Square. Imagine a lot of people sleeping on the ground, because at that stage they are actually qualified as refugees.
But why are you defending the activities of the junta, and then you are now condemning ECOWAS? If you remember, you did mention that a lot of people have come in from Mali and Chad, and it is because of activities like these that has forced the people to come in. Now, if you are going to say that the junta has the support of the people, so they should be allowed to take that action, are we not going to create a similar situation, or probably even worse?
I'm talking about the reality on the ground, that military intervention at this time will be counterproductive for the entire region. That is why the ECOWAS Solidarity Forum is calling the attention of the ECOWAS leaders, and in fact, leaders all over the world, to try to also intervene in the situation generally. For example, what has AU done so far? AU needs to call an emergency meeting. ECOWAS has called 2 emergency meetings to discuss the Nigerian situation. What about AU? AU should call an emergency meeting to discuss the Nigerian situation, and then get leaders in ECOWAS to rather focus more on the diplomatic intervention rather than the military intervention. It will be more productive for everyone to focus on, finding a peaceful solution to the situation rather than resorting to military action, which will just lead to some opportunistic armed conflicts or worsen armed conflicts that are already brewing in Niger internally, and then even spill over to West Africa.
They've been caused by ECOWAS for the junta to release the president. Do you think that if the president is released, probably it will send a good signal to ECOWAS?
Well, you see, I've been trying very hard because of the objective of my organization to de-escalate the situation, to stay away from the internal politics of Niger. But if I have to answer your question, holding the president or the former president or the deposed president is what any junta is likely to do, given the rise in given the situation. Let me choose my words carefully. Given the situation at hand. Because they are virtually holding him hostage to bargain for their own safety. Now, let's say tomorrow morning, the junta announces that, okay, ECOWAS, we are very scared that you are coming to, bombard us with your military force. So therefore, we have decided to release the former president and his family. I can tell you that they are afraid to do that because immediately they leave or give the former president to the ECOWAS, he's going to be declared as the legitimate president of Niger. And that would mean that they, the coup plotters or the coup leaders, would now be declared as the criminals or illegitimate, groups. And that means that they have committed treason. So what they have done to bargain for their own safety is to charge the deposed president with high treason. These are politics, these are tactics, these are methods, these are anything that you can call it, to either buy time or prevent something from happening. But for now, I think that there's too much misinformation going around as to what will happen or what may not happen when ECOWAS intervenes. So our focus is to try to campaign for de-escalation of the situation and get ECOWAS to back down on the military intervention, and then get the junta to also soften up and begin to at least give the international community some semblance of their willingness to return the country to democratic rule. I think that will begin to create the opportunity for all interest groups to begin to see how they can engage stakeholders to return the country to normalcy. I think that Mali is doing the same. So why not Niger? As we speak, the Malian junta have undertaken a referendum, and thankfully, yes has been fully endorsed. And they are now about to announce a timetable to return the country back to democratic rule. So perhaps we must begin to give the junta in power in Niger some opportunity to follow the Malian example. Nobody is talking about Burkina. Why? So this is creating a certain idea in the minds of observers that perhaps it could be because of that mineral resource in Niger called uranium that is required for energy needs of Europe and other places. People are willing to give or to entice struggling ECOWAS countries with some money, that please give us 100,000 troops, let's go to Niger, and then in exchange for so and so. The thing is that we have created a vacuum for all kinds of misinformation to be used to justify the situation of going to intervene in Niger with a military force. But we should all, the media in Ghana, the media in Africa, international media, should begin to tone down, and let's begin to rather focus more on taking the steps that will rather help to bring some form of engagement of civil society and the military, between the civil society and the military junta. Let's bring everybody to the negotiation table. Let's focus on bringing people to the negotiating table. Let's find ways to do that, rather than the rhetorics of we are going to war, we are going to war. It's just too much. So let's de-escalate and rather find ways of talking about bringing parties to the negotiation table. I think that will be in the interest of everyone.
As a member of the ECOWAS Solidarity Forum, what have you done so far, practical-wise? Have you been able to meet some of the leadership of ECOWAS and the junta?
In fact, it's a good question that you have raised. We as you know, the meeting of the ECOWAS Army Chief of Staffs ended yesterday. So we're all waiting to hear the outcome of that. After that, we have engaged a few of the participants in that meeting. As we speak, we have sought audience with the ECOWAS commissioner and other, people in very high places. We are sending a delegation, including myself, to the ECOWAS Commission itself in Abuja to meet certain people and let them understand that, look, let's focus on bringing everybody to the negotiation table rather than pushing to intervene with the military force. So there's a lot that we have planned. We are going to engage the media, we're going to engage Ghanaian civil society, we are going to engage people from all walks of life to begin to see the need to put pressure on ECOWAS to rather consider the diplomatic path rather than the military path as a solution to the Nigerian crisis.
Based on how the discussion would go with ECOWAS, are you going to meet members of the junta too?
Well, sorry about that. I almost choked. That's a $1 million question.
If you are talking, you should be ready to talk to both sides.
The thing, first of all, the junta have shut their doors to the international community. They are not ready to listen to anybody. Why? Because of what is coming from abroad, especially from ECOWAS. They have decided that they are not going to engage anybody for now until the rhetorics from ECOWAS changes. They are not ready to listen to anybody. In any case, they have begun to take some steps internally. They have announced a cabinet, and majority of the appointments are civilians. Are you aware?
But is it legal?
The point is,
yes or not?
The point is they have seized power. And instead of appointing military officers to key and sensitive positions, the junta has begun to take steps to show that they are ready to return Niger to normalcy, in quote. By doing so, in demonstrating that willingness to do so, what they have done is that they have announced new cabinet positions, and almost majority of all those cabinet positions have gone to civilian appointees rather than to military appointees, as would normally be the case in coup situations. Here is a case where the junta leader is in office, but a prime minister who happens to be the former minister for finance has been appointed into office. They are doing this to show to the Nigerian people. Now the focus of the junta is to please the Nigerian people, to show to the Nigerian people that they are ready to return the country to normalcy. But that action or actions or that picture is not what we are getting from outside Niger. Do you understand me? Now, what is missing is that we need to find ways to open engagements or talks between ECOWAS as an entity and the junta as a group. But for now, the position of ECOWAS is that the junta are illegal and they are not going to tolerate any form of forceful takeover by any group. So because of the entrenched position by ECOWAS, the junta on their part are also, taking some similar entrenched positions, and that is not helping the Nigerian situation. So what is needed now is for ECOWAS to take the lead in de-escalating the situation by inviting the junta for engagement, and that we think that will bring the solution faster than the military intervention.
Do you think that the exercise the junta have taken is legal? I mean, if they are putting civilians into positions, which constitution are they using?
Well, the thing is that, you see, there's something called political legitimacy. They are trying to use political means to galvanize support, internal support, for the kind of administration they are trying to put in place. That is entirely different from my view or your view or the view of whoever. If internally the junta has found a way to get the support of the Nigerian people, if for nothing at all, for creating a kind of transition to democracy, if that is the way to find political stability, I can tell you that it will be the focus of the junta. They will not be bothered too much about what ECOWAS people or what the international community thinks. What they are interested in as junta leaders now is to galvanize the support of the Nigerian people for whatever interventionist actions they are taking to administer the country for now. That is their focus. So it's not a question of me supporting them or me not supporting them. For me, I'm apolitical when it comes to the situation in Niger. Like I keep saying, our interest, including that of my brother, is to find or pursue peaceful means to return the country to normalcy. Or are they lying?
That's true.
So assuming ECOWAS says that, okay, it sat down with your group,
Sure.
the Solidarity
ECOWAS
Group,
Solidarity Forum, yes.
and decided, okay, the junta have lost trust in us. We want you to represent us, to talk to the junta, to agree to a sit down. Will your forum be able to reach leadership of the junta?
Absolutely, as we speak. You see, Niger is a very interesting country. It is a country you can describe as a melting pot. Almost everybody knows everybody in Niger. It's a vast country, but it has a very sizable population. The geographical size of the country is different from the population within Niger. Ghana has far bigger population than Niger. So everybody knows everybody. Me sitting here, I am a second or third generation Nigerian. Then put it that way. Because my grandfather or father, as well as my brothers or my brother sitting here, came here to Ghana and they gave birth to us here in Ghana. We've stayed here in Ghana and schooled here in Ghana and continue to live here in Ghana. But we are still in touch with our relatives and families in Niger. So, here's the situation. So to answer your question, it is very possible for us to mobilize civil society groups to make overtures towards the junta and get them to back down on their hardline stance now, to begin to open up to the international community and begin to understand that it is the interest of everybody for the situation to be de-escalated. The shortest question to your big question is yes, we are ready to support and assist in any way to bring Niger back to normalcy.
Based on your constant communication with your relatives and family in Niger, what is the current situation there in terms of economic-wise, security-wise?
Okay, first of all, the political and security situation is tensed. It's a very tensed one because there has been opportunistic, sporadic attacks on military officers in certain parts of the country. There has been pockets of violence which has led to the killing of some soldiers, but that is not new. That has always been the case even before the intervention by the junta. Now, economically, Niger is worse off since the beginning of the coup, because as we speak, ECOWAS has imposed economic sanctions on the country. all borders, all countries surrounding ECOWAS, surrounding Niger, especially Nigeria, Benin, and Togo, except, of course, Mali and Burkina, have closed their borders. So the trade that goes on between Niger and those other countries is seriously affected. It will interest you to know that a lot of the farm produce that we consume here in Ghana come from Niger.
Like onions.
Like onions. In fact, what people always talk about onions, but a lot of our meat consumption is taken care of by Niger, because cattle and sheep, which gives us mutton, and then obviously our protein needs, a lot of it comes from Niger. So as we speak, we ourselves, if we don't take care, prices are going to begin to go up in Ghana very soon, because once the stock that we have now runs out, how to restock is going to be a problem. So yes, Nigerians are beginning to feel the worsening economic situation, as well as political and security situation.
Finally, before you go, look into the camera and say something to the junta and to ECOWAS in an attempt to bring a lasting solution to this problem.
Right. This is to the good people of Niger and the current regime. Let us open opportunities for talks with the international community, especially ECOWAS, to return Niger to normalcy. The people of Niger, we are calling on you to put a lot of pressure on your current leadership to begin to understand the consequences of their actions, so that at the end of the day, returning Niger to normalcy will benefit no others but the people of Niger themselves. So we wish the people of Niger all the best in their efforts to return the country back to normalcy and democracy. Thank you.
Yunisa, right? Yes. I want to take your final comment. You have been a member of parliament before. Now you are part of the citizenry. As a representative of a government and the people now, what kind of democratic exercise do you think right now will be accepted by the junta currently?
Thank you very much. I think in 2010, Niger was like this situation. So ECOWAS and the other communities, they have to look after what was being done in 2010. They're supposed to follow the same action so that Niger will become a real country of democracy. The junta was being given, I think, a time. I don't know, it was 18 months to come back to the normal process. So these people, I don't know their agenda, but if they put everything on the table, I'm very sure they can get a solution throughout, so that by 1 year to 2 years, things will be done so that Niger will come back to the normal democratic country that we know.
I know there've been comments regarding the intention of ECOWAS to bring military action against the junta, but we've had situations in the past where ECOWAS have tried negotiations and it hasn't succeeded. And this time round, it tried to send a strong signal that it will no longer continue to accept situations like these. Despite what ECOWAS wants to do, what in your opinion going forward ECOWAS can do to bring a lasting solution to Niger?
I think ECOWAS is supposed to know that The ECOWAS is not for the president, it's for the good people of Africa or the good people of ECOWAS. Here in Ghana, nobody like to send the troop in Niger to kick the giant out. Mali, Ivory Coast, anyone you ask, the person will tell you that we need a peaceful solution, not an intervention. So the intervention will be a disaster for ECOWAS. So I think the good thing is ECOWAS supposed to go to the junta, put things on the table, find a peaceful solution that will help we all. Because I think ECOWAS leaders, they know that intervention will not help, because Niger have at least 30,000 military soldiers. ECOWAS in total maybe will get something like 200 or less than 200,000. So they are going to meet them. Niger people will associate maybe Mali, Burkina, and others. So the fight will be general. Fight general, it will not help Africa. It's supposed to go through peaceful manner so that things will help us, because we don't need a second Libya. Second Libya will not help us. We are begging ECOWAS leaders for our hands, for our mouth, for our everything. We beg you, we beg them, they should find a peaceful solution which will help us, which will help Niger people, which will solve all the problems now, because closing border will not help us. Closing border will not help all the Africans, because if you are in Ghana as Ghanaian, maybe you have your uncle or your brother in Niger. If your brother die, it will affect you. So I think we are going to beg the ECOWAS people and all the big people in the world to help Niger to come out with a good solution which will help our people.
Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you,
time.
my sister.
Thank you very much. We've been talking to Alhaji Ali Yunusa and Alhaji Haruna Maiga. They've been sharing with us their individual perspectives of the current situation in Niger and what they think, in their opinion, is the best solution. If you follow through the discussion, they are all talking about an attempt by ECOWAS to sit down with the junta, to attempt to sit down with the junta to bring a lasting solution to the country of Niger and for ECOWAS as a whole. So we'll be talking to them again. They'll be coming back to us, and we'll follow the discussion as the situation continues in Niger.